Hello and welcome to this week's Glasstire Top 5. It is the week of October 1st, 2020. I'm Christina Rees.
And I'm Brandon Zech.
And we are shooting this in Houston at Deborah Colton Gallery, and we'll get to that in just a minute.
Coincidentally, actually, our top 5 pick is right next door, or at least it would be on a normal day if the event were actually happening at the venue. It is Show, Intervention, whatever you want to call it, by EILEEN MAXSON, called Time is Money. This is hosted by Aurora Picture Show. There's a conversation between Mary Magsamen, Aurora's curator, and EILEEN MAXSON on October 2nd, so tomorrow. That's digitally on Zoom. But this is the type of social media intervention that there's no way to see it unless it was delivered to you. So it's relying on the algorithm, it's relying on what Facebook is and what Instagram are. So for this project, for about the last month, EILEEN MAXSON has been uploading a video to Instagram and to Facebook and using it as an ad on Aurora Picture Show's account. So basically, she's been putting money behind it because if you've never done Facebook or Instagram ads, you can target them to very specific groups of people. So for example, she began it by targeting people who were job hunting or art-going users that were 16 to 65 who were present in Texas and interested in working time and FARCE, because apparently that's how, we know that's how specific these social media profiles, they show that you are interested in FARCE. This is a little bit of a weird pick because it's a weird project, but I'm using weird in such a good way because I think this conversation between the artist and Mary, it's going to be really interesting because it's going to be them talking about what this project is actually, what's come out of it and what they've learned out of it. Because, like I said, there's no way to see this unless it has been purposefully shown to you by the social media algorithm. So, weird project, very pandemic, very internet related, but I think that conversation will be really worth it.
Number 4 on our list this week is in Dallas at Photographs Do Not Bend. It is a Houston favorite, early HUDNALL Jr. It's his past and present photographs in Dallas now. So the reason we're picking this, he took photographs of people in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th wards of Houston as part of a big project called the Model Cities program. This is after he left the Marines, moved to Houston, and started photographing around the city. These are actually quite famous photographs at this point. I just don't know if they've been shown in Dallas anytime recently. Photographs Do Not Bend is really one of the premier photography galleries in the country, and it's a long-running gallery.
So they have been shown quite a bit around Texas. They've obviously been shown a lot in Houston. I believe some are actually in the collection of the MFAH.
Oh, sure.
They've been shown at the Amon Carter, which again, Amon Carter has a wonderful photography collection. The best thing is these are images of just daily life. So early HUDNALL, he tended to kind of favor either children or younger people or older people. And it really, the photographs, especially the ones which are portraits, just kind of capture the sitter's personality in a really special way that only a really excellent photographer can do. He has that eye and he has that ability to interact with his sitter to really kind of bring out their true self.
The show has been up for about a month. It will be up through October 31st. So if you are in and around Dallas, I strongly recommend that you check this out. Number 3 on our list, we are here at Deborah Colton Gallery in Houston. There are 2 shows on our list for this week. One is AMITA BHATT, whose show is in the other room. And then behind us is Dorothy Hood.
This is actually a 2-person show with Dorothy Hood and with Daniel KAYNE. So Dorothy Hood, we've talked a lot about her on Glasstire before. She's her career's really kind of had a second wave. She has been dead since I believe about 2000, but this show includes some of her paintings, some of her collages, a beautiful drawing, and then it also includes works by David KAYNE, and they're, luscious.
They're harder to catch on video, but
they're really hard to catch on video. You have to see them in person. Some of them are a little more subtle. Some of them are just really, you just kind of want to reach out and dig your hands into them. They're wax, they're aluminum powder, they're on wood panels. They almost look like weird, deformed, melted objects, kind of in the really best way. They have a real grit to them.
In the other room is AMITA BHATT. Its heroism is the possibility of believing in the impossible. This is paintings and drawings. She photography digs deep into the world philosophies and mythologies to answer questions pertaining to our political as well as personal belief systems. There's a lot of kind of allusions to mythology, the creation myth, various world religions, human figures mixed up with animal figures, a sort of reckoning with today's environment, but using sort of allegorical and historical imagery.
It's also just a cast of wild characters in every meaning of the word. And so these shows, they did open in September. They're open through October 17th, and they're open either by appointment. So if you want to make sure that you kind of have your own time and space in the gallery, then you can make an appointment. But the gallery is also open in general. Make sure you have your mask, but you can just pop in to see these shows. Number 2 this week is a show at Liliana Block Gallery in Dallas. It's a show of works by Kathy Lovas called Clothing, Crimes, and Misdemeanors. The show opened kind of towards the beginning of September, but it's going to be up through October 10th.
Yeah, it's by appointment only. So Kathy Lovas, what happened was she's a photographer primarily, but this is inspired by a true crime story. In 2016, her car was stolen. When she got it back 2 weeks later, the car was completely undamaged, but there were a lot of clothes in the car, men's clothes and women's clothes. She photographed each item beautifully, by the way, and then she has covered an expansive wall at the gallery with these actually really beautiful photographs, this sort of taxonomy of clothing, found clothing. There are other elements in the show. I've only seen images of the show. It looks incredibly handsome and quite striking and interesting to kind of elevate this subject matter in this way in a gallery. It's kind of weirdly personal, but it's also kind of almost a scientific sort of, as I said, a taxonomy of clothing. And again, by appointment only, but this looks like a really good show to catch in Dallas right now.
And number 1 this week is a show at the UT VAC, the Visual Arts Center at UT Austin. The show's called Between Two Worlds. This exhibition, it's a number of artists, it's a group show, and it's about artists who are influenced by their life growing up either in the South Texas border region or northern Mexico. There are some artists that aren't currently based in those regions, but that's kind of the heart of what this show is. So in addition to the show being up for a little while, it is up through November 20th. There are a number of programs that are happening on the Visual Arts Center's Instagram that are running kind of throughout the duration of the show with the curator, Jesus Trevino, who is an MFA candidate at UT Austin right now. What are you doing this weekend?
Oh boy, I might actually go see some art.
Go figure. Well, you should too.
Yeah, with that, stay safe, but go see some art.
Go see some art.